public platforms. And before I go to our agenda for the meeting today, may I start by welcoming the members of the RC, and I will start by introducing the first member, Ms. Maseti, who is the FTRM responsible for pipe gas and an interim member responsible for electricity regulation, and she's also a member of a number of structures of the energy regulator. Ms. Maseti, over to you.
Good morning, Chairperson. Good morning, members, and good morning to the stakeholders and members of the public that are observing our proceedings today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Maseti. And the next member of the REC is Mr. Muzimkize, who is the FTRM or full-time regulator member responsible for petroleum pipelines regulation, and he is also a member of other structures of the energy regulator. And Mr. Mkize?
Thank you, Chairperson. Good morning to all the attendees, as well as all the members of the public that are following us through the various live streaming platforms. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Mkize. In terms of welcoming everyone to our REC meeting number 388, we do have an agenda that has been advertised together with the notice of this particular meeting. On our agenda, we had 10 items that were to be discussed in our open session of the meeting. However, there is one item that has been removed on our agenda. We therefore have 9 items for consideration in the open session of our meeting. And on that note, I would like to get an indication from our members if they support the agenda as amended. Members, if you can, by show of hand. Thank you, Mr. Mkize. Thank you, Ms. Maseti. Also support the agenda as amended. We will then start with the item that is for the electricity regulation, which is item 5, and it's the quarterly report on the registration of generation facilities that have been approved in the second quarter of 2024-25. And Mr. Mkize, would you like to introduce the item for us? Thanks.
Thank you very much. Chairperson, may I request that another person from ELR to assist with the introduction of that submission. Mr. Mkize had to attend to another urgent matter for ELR.
Okay, thank you. I'll ask the acting HOD, Mr. Kopa, if you can proceed and introduce the submission briefly. And please do take it as having been read by members. Mr. Kopa.
Good morning, members, and good morning, colleagues. Taking the matter as read, and the purpose of it is to request the regulator executive committee to know the quarterly report of the registered generation facilities approved in the second quarter of the 2024-2025 financial year. The request is in line with the standing instruction number 9 of the ELS delegation matrix. As for background purpose, is that the total registered facilities registered now, we're standing at 1,669 with accumulated installed capacity of 9,680 megawatts, and that is shown on page 3 of 9 on table 1, and it also shows the number of facilities per year since 2018. And for the time period, which is the second quarter that we are reporting on, we had the registered number at 149, and that the total capacity is at 1,734 megawatts. And the details of the registered projects per technologies are found on table 2, which is on page 4 of 9. And with that, I would like to take the members to page 6 of 9, which is the recommendation, which is for the REC to know the quarterly reporting on registered generation facilities approved in the second quarter of 2024-2025 financial year. And this is in terms of the standing instruction number 9 of the ELS delegation matrix. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you very much. Members, any questions or issues of clarity on the item? I do not see any hand from the members. I think for me, I just had a point of enhancements and Tate Khopa to say that maybe what we could also do to enhance the tables, especially the table 1, where we could have also added columns to say that which areas are the registrants coming from, in the same manner as we did with table 2 on page 2. And probably maybe at the end, we may need to really enhance the report to indicate over the years in each year the number of generation, the capacity, the investment cost, the technology, and as well as the location of these, if it is possible, such that when this information is requested, we are able as a regulator to really avail it to anyone that is requested to have it. So I just thought that some of these tables we can just combine and improve them such that they give a holistic view of those items that I have just identified. Members, any other point other than the one that I've just made to enhance the report or input onto what I'm suggesting? If there's none, the recommendations are indeed on page 6 as read by Ndade Khopa, which is to for the RC to note the quarterly report of the generation facilities approved in the second quarter of 2024-25 financial year in terms of the standing instruction 9 of the electricity subcommittee delegation matrix. By show of hand, members, can I get an indication that you support the noting of the second quarter report on the registered facility? Thanks, Ms. Masiti. Thanks, Mr. Mkize. Also support. We then move on to the next item, which is under the Petroleum Pipelines Regulation. We'll move on to item 6, which is the decision and reasons for decision for the 2024-25, 25-26, and 25-26 tariff application by Niksha General Trading, Pty Limited, trading as Niksha Petroleum for its petroleum storage facility in Bloemfontein, Free State. Ms. Mtwa, briefly, if you have to introduce, if not, just direct us to a presenter that will guide the committee on the submission. Over to you.
Thanks, Chair. Ms. Sibake will introduce the matter. Thank you.
Thank you, you may proceed, ma'am. Sure, proceed.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair, and good morning, members and the colleagues. Taking the matter as read, the purpose of this submission is to request the REC to approve the tariffs applied for by Niksha for its petroleum storage facility for the period 11 December 2024 to 28 February 2026, and it is also requested that the REC approve the decision and reasons for decision document attached here to as Annexure A. Niksha is a below-bulk petroleum storage facility located in Bloemfontein, Free State, and the facility comprises 13 storage tanks with a total design capacity of 419 cubic meter, licensed for the storage of diesel 500 ppm and paraffin. And on 22 July 2024, Niksha submitted 2 tariff applications covering the 2024-25 and the 2025-26 financial years, and the purpose for the 2024-25 application aims to cover the remaining months of the 2024-25 financial year, ensuring that Niksha has approved tariff in place before the 2025-26 tariff takes effect. And this is Niksha's first tariff application for its facility, in which it requests tariffs of 3.0 cents per liter for the 2024-25 financial year and 3.10 cents per liter for the 2025-26 financial year. A detailed analysis of the allowable revenue calculation is presented on page 6 to 7, while the volume analysis is presented on page 7 to 10. And based on the information provided, it is therefore recommended that
I don't know, we have lost Ms. Sebake. I don't know whether it's from my side or other members can hear her. Ms. Sebake,
I lost it.
members, can you hear her?
No.
Okay, we can't hear her. Can someone step
Chair.
in, Ms.
Yes,
to
yes.
assist us to
So
proceed
I think
with
she was
submission?
now touching on the recommendation, Chairperson. So the recommendation is for the committee to approve the tariffs applied by NESHA for the period 11 December to 28 February 2026, and also approve the decision and reasons for decision, Chair. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Boko, for quickly stepping in. Members, any questions, issues of clarity in relation to this particular application? I don't see any hand. I think from my side, it's just a point of clarity in relation to the triple BEE, because I've noted in the submission that the certification that has been given to us is a certificate dated 28 February 2022. And in my understanding was that this certification gets done on an annual basis, unless if there's a reason or different process that I'm not aware of. Can I be clarified as to why I was still having the 2022 certification? Thanks. I see Ms. Munyabudi. Do you want to come in, ma'am, to assist?
Yes, Chair. I will assist with the question. The mixture requirement to submit their status on BE is only due, I think, sometime, just trying to open the spreadsheet, sometime February. So these requirements are required once annually, and the issued certificate of 2022 is valid for a year, which expired in 2023. So then the next certificate which we would require, we don't necessarily require it on the time it expires, but on the day of anniversary of the license. So hence the delay in that certificate. Thank you.
Noted, but please do check the date because it's a certificate of 2022 February, and there should have been one after 2022, which should have been 2023 February. And I think let's just try and align that particular requirement with our own processes, because my view is that there is a delay in terms of that particular certification, and we need to be assured of the composition or the level that they are at in terms of the triple BEE. On that note, members, if there are no questions, may I take you to the recommendations which are on page 12, paragraph 14. They have been read into the record, but I'll repeat them. And the recommendations are that the REC is requested to approve the tariff applied for by NECSA for the period 11 December 2024 to 28 February 2026, and to approve the decision and reasons for decisions that are attached as Annex A. By show of hand, members, can I get an indication that you support the recommendations as provided for in paragraph 14 of page 12? Thanks, Ms. Maseti. Mr. Mkhize are also support. Would
Chairperson, you're on mute.
Oh, sorry. Thank you for that. Thanks, members. We'll move on to the next item, which is an item for noting. It's a round robin decision relating to the decision and reasons for decision on the tariff application by AXA for its petroleum storage facility at King Paulo International Airport in the Eastern Cape. Members, by show of hand, can I get an indication if you have any issues in relation to this, and other than to say, can we proceed and note the submission? By show of hand, can I get an indication for noting? Thanks, Ms. Maseti. I support the noting, Mr. Mkhize. Thank you. The round robin is noted. We move on to the next round robin that is for noting, which is on the decision and reasons for decision for a tariff application by AXA again, but for its storage facility at the George International Airport in the Western Cape. Members, by show of hand, can I get an indication that you support the noting of this particular round robin? Thank you, Ms. Masepi. Thank you, Mr. Mkize. I also support the noting. We then move on to the next item, which is an item under the pipe gas regulation. It is an item on SLCNG Pty Limited on its full year regulatory financial report for the period 1 July 2023 to 30 June 2024. It is here for noting, but Mr. Umalo, do you want to introduce or take the committee through this particular submission so that members can proceed to consider the recommendation? Take the submission as having been read. Over to you.
Good morning, Chair. And
Thank you, Chairperson. I was struggling to just unmute myself, but in essence, and thank you for just introduction, for the indication that this is indeed the regulatory reporting of financial reports by a company called SLCNG. These are submitted in line with the regulatory reporting manuals that basically are there, just to guide the licensees with regard to financial reports that they need to submit to NERSA. Chairperson, we received this on the 31st of October 2024, and we've then evaluated the regulatory financial reports, based on 5 principles or 4 principles, including the administrative procedures, audit report, as well as comparison of estimates that they made at the time that they made an application for a maximum price compared to the actuals. And lastly, they were evaluated on the basis of the ratios, performance ratios. And Chairperson, in a nutshell, there is nothing that basically was observed or identified, that might be of concern. I think there is just one thing that we noted, that there is a potential for a clawback, but that process is then dealt with separately, when the entity, submits their next maximum price application. But in general, Chairperson, and importantly, the regulatory financial reports do comply with the requirements, and the auditors have also indicated that there has been due compliance with regard to the requirements. Thank you, Chairperson. We'll take the rest as read.
Thank you, Mr. Numalo. Members, any questions or issues in relation to the item? By show of hand, I don't see any hand from the members. I will then proceed to page 9, which has the recommendation, and it's on paragraph 14, and the recommendation are for the REC to note SLCNG's full year regulatory financial reports for the period 1 July 2023 to 30 June 2024, which have been submitted in compliance with the requirements of the RRM Volume 1, and they are attached as Annexure C. By show of hand, members, can I get an indication that you support the noting of these RFR? Sorry, I beg your pardon. Thank you, Ms. Masetti, Mr. Mkize. I do support. On that note, I think I'd need to make just a correction. I've said that we have 7 items that are for the open session. In actual fact, it's 5. I have mistakenly calculated other governance issues. So this application that was for noting by SLCNG Pty Limited as RFRs, it was the last one for the open session. And on that note, I would then wish to thank our members of the public that have attended the REC meeting number 388 over the different platforms, and thank them for their attendance, and also thank the members of the REC for their contribution onto the items that were to be considered under the open session. We are now going to close the open session and then proceed with the closed session for the meeting. Ntate Mateja, over to you. Just alert me if you have closed the streaming of our meeting.